Well, I worked on green. Yeah. Yeah, I know where. Well, we can work over.
All right, district engineer, you're on.
Well, as you guys already know, we've got pretty good allocation this year. Would you be able to give me back the control?
Now, did you get a copy of the brief that we prepared to file in the Supreme Court? You read it where I'm in there?
Yeah, there, I think we got one last night.
Well, that's what we're trying to do, is get them out now, yeah.
I haven't looked at it, but, so for, I think that's, we've got that on the agenda in the closed
Yeah,
session.
right, and I'm gonna make sure you got a copy.
Yeah, I did. I haven't read it. So we're at, for this usable water for this year, including what we released and what's come in and what we have left over from last year, at 841, 128, which is as high as we've been since 2008, higher. And clearly allowing for down below, Mexico went to full allocation 2 months ago, and we're at 436, 171, and EBID's at 302, 900. I guess the indications happened yesterday, was it, that we got the notice from Robert that the gains went to, the losses went to zero?
Yes.
It was the earliest our river, our diversion ratio losses have gone to zero. They haven't gone to zero since 2005. Except for Arroyo, when we've had Arroyo, and so we didn't have any Arroyo activity, so that means that these numbers, for at least for EBID, will be going up. They should be going up, so EBID might see significantly more allocation if we don't have to reserve any more water for seepage losses and other issues. So the other thing is we're starting to monitor the drains. Phil and I looked at it, we predicted we continue at this rate of water use that we'd see the drains start to flow again sometime in August. So
Upper Valley drains, even with they're probably not pumping as much.
they're probably not pumping as much. I'm sure they're still pumping quite a bit, but not as much. So we're just putting a lot more water on the line.
We'll be back to the problem of the drain slip and all.
Yeah. I think we got the drains under control.
That was a good problem.
So, you know, right now, we're targeting, where's Robert?
Right here.
150, right? Has that number changed for end of year balance?
I'm still thinking about 2 out, but
Yeah, probably closer to 2.
For carry.
I'm looking at a quarter mile, but the numbers I got are kind of on the high side, looking at 230, about 230 using it for the whole year, and still looking at about a good solid 200 carrying over.
So if we make our first allocation sometime in early February, if we need to, then we're probably looking at having close to 260 to 300,000, right?
Right.
Again, more water than we've had at the beginning of the year since 2005.
Long.
Long time. So that's the good news. Don't ask too many questions. You guys get awfully quiet. Do I just need to bring bad news, then we talk more? Good news, everybody's quiet. So. Okay.
How would you say the EBID diversion allocation after transfer? Where's that transfer?
Oh, we don't have any. That's a transfer that occurs. We're only what 232,000 is our maximum carryover balance.
I think it's 240, no?
No, 232, 436.
So anything over that transfer then?
Yeah, it transfers to them. We don't anticipate reaching that
Okay.
this year.
Oh, I see right above it. Is that where you're showing zero allocation transfer?
Right. Yeah,
Okay.
there's zero excess carryover. Yeah, I don't see. There was a chance that was going to happen last month. I might have said, or the month before, but the production of the river has really fallen off very steeply in the last 3 weeks. And unless we have significant rain events that we don't expect to get to. There's a chance we can still get to a transfer, but right now, as he said, we're at 200, we're getting close. I mean, for example, if we were to get 33,000 more acre feet between now and October, that's allocated to us, then we would transfer 1,000 of it. Because he's estimating 200,000 if we went over, or a little less than 1,000. But anyways, that threshold's we're getting pretty close to it. But we're not there.
All of the upstream, flood control dams are full, all the Corps of Engineer dams.
You know, there's one of the things that we've been struggling with, Phil and I, and you guys, the board has too, we've talked about it, we wrote the letter to the commissioner about it, is the lack of ability for us to understand what's going on upstream.
Up over them.
We don't know. They tell us at the end when they account for it, or what?
They tell us if we pull it from them and we work hard to pull it, they won't. It's always a multiple inquiry, phone calls, you gotta tell us what's going on, you gotta find out. It's never a push, we never get that information given to us. And, you know, part of it is because we're not.
Our commissioner gets it, I hope, or his engineer.
You talk to that.
Yeah, Curtis, the last time Al and I talked to him, he said he was going to get us what they were storing up there, where they were at and so on. We haven't heard back.
Well, you know what it's like I say, it's a pull. So unless she and I engage 2 weeks before the board meeting, and Phil does a pretty good job about this, he does sometimes engage pretty heavily. And it's a repeat every month, rinse, wash, and repeat. It's we need those numbers, I don't think these are the right numbers, you know, I mean, how many emails go through each time? And it's not just, I don't think we've given up on going to Curtis. Although last time Curtis gave us some good numbers, we go straight to Reclamation, which is in charge of keeping that accounting, and we push to get them, same place Curtis gets them from, and try to get them straight from the source. But it is not a transparent process. It is not a accommodating process. It is for example, I think, I've got a feeling that there's water, that somebody briefly mentioned 2 months ago that there was some native water, maybe it was Curtis, that they were planning to hold. They could do that and release it in November, right?
Yes.
I don't think I like that. I want our water down here, we'll hold it. But I guess there was some legal ability for them to do that. But we never get it fully explained to us. It's just sort of anecdotal information that's out there. You know, we tried to attend. We said that we'd sit in the hallway, Phil and I, and, you know, we tried to engage on that process. You know, they didn't want us in the meeting. So I said, well, we'll go to the meeting, we'll just sit, we can't talk. That didn't work. So we'll go to the meeting and we'll sit in the hallway.
That's because they knew it was impossible.
Well, that's a different issue. I think we can do it once. So by the second meeting, I'm sure that'd break down, but anyways, we've not been invited in any way, form, or shape to the two districts to participate. We wrote, remember, that was a joint letter that was signed by both board presidents.
Doesn't the Bureau tell you somehow annually what the historical norms were at those different metering points from, I'm talking about all the way up to Wolf Creek? And don't you get?
Yeah, you get an annual
some
report.
Summary of that?
It usually runs about a year behind, so we haven't yet received the one for last year yet.
I remember Al made a comment, maybe this was a couple of years ago, about at that time, the releases were not following the line of historical, you know, if it snows this much, you get this much here, you get this much here, it wasn't following historical norms.
Well, the post-analysis, the numbers go in February, that's the meeting that Phil and I were trying, and you guys authorized us to petition the commissioner to allow us to, in some manner, participate in, and that got denied. And that's when, if there's problems with those numbers, that's when they need to be brought up and resolved, and so all we get is stuff 6 months to 12 months after the fact. But, you know, what we're talking about now is real-time stuff about what's going on this year, and what reclamation is, and we look at New Mexico this year, so we get some anecdotal information that I'll repeat to you here now, but I have no way of verifying it. And we remember one year we got into where they had told us that we were gonna have 10,000 acre feet of credit, and it ended up being the other way around, it was short 10,000, I said, I'm gonna stop using those numbers.
Is it $20,000?
Yeah, I think I even I put it in the forecast allocation, guys, and then it swung from not 10 plus, and we questioned, well, did you just tell me the wrong, that it was not a credit, it was a debit? And said, no, we went back and found the emails, they said it was a credit, and then 2 months later, it's the other way around.
You know, with today's technology, you know, who knows what the reason is it's not transparent, but everybody should have the ability to see what's going on daily, around it, whatever. Because of today's technology, somebody has to read it, I mean, they're not all out at the dams looking, I know there's a lot of
Well, it's,
stuff, but it looked like the whole project could see.
we'd love to have a San Juan Chama native Rio Grande website that posted numbers every day, that showed us what's going on every
The whole
day.
project.
But apparently, there's so many calculations, and they're so undocumented to some degree that they don't, sometimes we wonder if they know what's going on.
Well, I don't wanna be the nefarious naysayer, but I assume it's gonna show water theft. I mean.
When you're not accounting for it and it's not
You know, you're in the
transparent,
middle of Rio Grande, from there on out, there's water theft going on,
well, you
in
can't,
my opinion, but I don't know how we're gonna find it. or pull it.
it's, you know, they're,
That's part of the reason they don't.
That's why I don't think you're having, I think that's why you're having trouble getting these numbers. I think with Johnny, it's gotta be,
I don't think it's that, I think it's a bureaucracy is what
is
we're.
that what it is?
Because
You
there's
don't
not,
think- Okay.
I think it's a very entrenched, long, you know, San Juan Chama's really old, and the calculations are really complicated, and each year to try to make them more accurate, they make them more
In
complicated.
the age of supercomputers, it'd probably take a tenth of a second to do the calculation.
They have and that's one of the problems, that they went from a fairly straightforward calculation method in the 70s and the 80s, and we were getting those documents when I first started working here, and they've gone to a very sophisticated computer model that nobody can run but Reclamation, because it's proprietary, just to buy the model. It takes a full-time operator to maintain it.
Whoever has it, looked like they could, you know, the information should be available.
Well, we can bring that up
On a
again.
timely basis.
They rely on the USGS a lot also.
Yeah, and a lot of, and Corps of Engineers, there's a lot of parties.
It goes to bureaucracy, like you say, because those people don't.
But there is a certain amount of water we think that's in the upstream reservoir that belongs
They
to,
worry about the water, they don't worry about their job.
and then they'll let that down in November, so that, but that'll be past our allocation time, so that will help next year. And I don't think that'll push us over the excess carry, but I don't know, you know, short of, I mean, we could talk in executive session about under the exceptions, because some of this is related to the exceptions that we filed, let's talk about it there.
That Rio Grande Reservoir that's up there in Colorado, how does that work? I've forgotten how that functions. Is it a part of our project of flood control, or is it, because I didn't think there was any place for Colorado except for on the Canacolas.
It's a really small reservoir, I think it's 15,000 acre feet as well.
But is it flood control, or is it?
I think it's a fishing reservoir.
Well,
It's a fishery.
you know, I understand it, it's like all of this stuff is more fishing, but how do they have the authority to do it, or what?
Well, I think that one predates the compact.
Is that on the canal? No, that's a different.
No, it's not a canal, it's not, that was just a headwaters reservoir that was built probably for recreational use and maybe a little flood protection.
So they predates the project?
You know, my understanding is it's pretty old. I don't remember seeing it in the compact, it's an allowed reservoir. I mean, it was in the compact as an allowed reservoir.
Which one is it?
That little skinny reservoir up there, you drive by as you come out of the mountains, at the headwaters past Creed.
Mhm.
It's way up there, it's right at the top.
It's way up
You know, that's where the roads turned to four-wheel drive roads after that, and where we thought we weren't gonna make it down.
Yeah.
So,
there. You always make it down.
it's-
It's easy, gravity takes care of that.
Well, it's whether we were gonna be on the road or in the creek, is what.
Yeah, well, now that's a concern. All right. What about the construction, third-party construction? Everybody's out of our way, Jay?
Everybody, with the exception of one contractor here in Fabens, they're gonna replace that structure, leaving Fabens towards La Isla, that bridge. That project was awarded or won by Dan Williams last week, contractor. They will begin to mobilize the end of August, so that bridge will be out of commission for about a year.
They're not affecting the flow channel.
No, they're gonna be brand new structures, free spanning the Riverside Canal extension and the,
Free span, all right.
all the way across, and the drain
Maybe
as
the
well.
best guy.
Yeah, and we're getting a brand new culvert on the I-243, which runs by Larry Madrid. And, so they're.
After the season.
Yeah, after the season, yeah, exactly. The contractors that's installing the water line, they rerouted the water line, it's going straight to that subdivision.
So they're not gonna free span over that little ladder we were talking about?
No, there's a box culvert right now. They're just gonna increase the size of that culvert.
I mean, that's so close to the canal, you'd thought they'd just go ahead and free span it.
That's the one that Larry Madrid just sold to
Chase Farms.
Chase Farms?
Yes, sir.
Larry Madrid and then
Chase Farms is like the
Yeah,
whole.
buying the whole
they
thing.
bought Morosevich.
Steve bought some,
Well, he'll deny it to your face, but he sold it.
Yeah, Morosevich, Larry Madrid
And
and
Madrid.
Morosevich.
I think those are the two.
Well, there was three.
Yeah, I thought there was a third, but no, there's two.
There's two?
How they don't come out around visiting me?
They visited me and I said, I'll buy some of that land from you.
But,
Don't even upset anything.
but no, everything's going well. That's the only project ongoing.
People will cover the culvert and Fagan's River, because I don't consider Chase Falls.
Okay, is that all engineers? Each your own, man.
Good morning. Well, other than the everyday projects that we got going, other fallen trees, and washouts, mowing, I've got a small little presentation, it's about 30 slides. Of some of these special projects that we've got going on. Here, we've got a couple of complaints on the banks over the years that's kind of moved over and got against these structures, or people just building too close to our ditch banks. And here you see where these people started complaining, saying that the dirt was pushing the fence over. So we had to go in there and kind of remove the dirt against the fence.
Are they on their property line? Do we survey before we?
Yeah, that's one of the very first things that we do, is we go out there and we make sure that, yeah, they're out of our right of way. And a lot of these properties are just right against us.
Oh, yeah.
So over the years, you know, that's just, you get, with the rain and everything else, you get that dirt just washing into these fences. You know, one of the things that I do tell them is, by us doing this, now you're gonna have a puddle every time it rains. You're gonna have this puddle caught between our ditch bank and your rock wall, which, me personally, I think will cause more damage than the dirt was doing. But who am I to say? Trees falling from private property. This happened up by Fox Plaza. We had this tree uprooted. Again, you know, it's Mother Nature, so we had to go in there and what we do is we remove the tree from our right of way and we just place it back on the private property. We notify the homeowner, or here in this case was a business, and then they'll be in charge of removing the tree and disposing of it. So we just pretty much get it out of our way. Keep going, Jen. A couple of wasteways that have failed. This is right there by Chicken Ranch Road, right before you get to Hole in the Wall Road. We actually had 2 of them fail there. One of them is a little bit more, it's gonna, a little bit more work. We're gonna have to tear into the road, and it's a pretty big project, so we're just gonna go ahead and wait on that one until the end of water season. But this one here was just a tie-in at the end of the concrete pipes. So it's a pretty quick fix. This one here is a culvert that also failed. Well, no, actually, this is a Favens. This is Favens at the Mesa Drain. We're installing a temporary crossing for all the people that live on 6th Street. We need to replace the culvert at 6th Street, but in order to do that, we need to put a temporary crossing for all these people to get them in and out. County is doing all the legwork. All we're gonna do is go in there, do the replacement. The County of El Paso is buying all the pipe, They provided the pipe for the temporary crossing. This is just, I guess,
In
what's
front of
that?
the post office, right in front of the post
Yeah,
office.
it's kind
the-
of corner with the post, the
The
post
first,
office is
the
right
first
there.
street upstream, where that little subdivision is one street, it's a dead end. It's got no other access, so we're gonna put a temporary access to
So-
Alameda.
So the county's already, they've already put, based from Alameda all the way into a little alleyway that they own right in the middle of the neighborhood. So I'm hoping to get started with this on Monday. We still got Texas Gas that's got a line going through there. And there's also a sewer line going through there that, Phase 4 will have to relocate before we actually go in there and tear it out. But I'm hoping we can get started with this here on Monday, and it should be about a good week. We can have, probably a good 5 days of work, and we'll be out of there.
And Fabian, so there's a sewer line that's got the clay pipe, so that's gonna have to be removed simultaneously next week as we remove the pipe. There's a gas line, high pressure, that's gonna have to be replaced as well. And you see that pipe going across the drain right now, it's a 2-inch water line that Fabian's number 4 has already constructed to keep the residents fed, on active on water, because that water line will have to be replaced as well. So there's quite a bit of utilities. The culvert has failed, and yeah, the county, like Pete mentioned, is.
And Phase 4, that sewer line that's there, it is a clay line, like Jay said. So what they're gonna do is they're gonna go out there and pretty much cut the section that goes over our right of way. And they're gonna go ahead and upgrade it to a plastic pipe. And then they'll suspend that over the drain once we go in there. But they're trying to do it with these clay lines, so they're gonna do that section that goes over our property. Part of our, some of the drains that we've mowed, these, you're gonna see a before picture and an after picture of the same location. This is actually up there in Anthony. This one here also. Right now, we're working on the Mesa drain, Mesa spur, middle drain, and the Anthony drain. These are all these pictures that you're seeing right now.
Are those just mowers, or is you got those big old tumblers?
No, the brush cutters, no, right now the brush cutters, I'm having to replace some bearings on them, they went out on us. But these are the mowers. These are the mowers, we go in there with the mowers and just mow everything down, then come back with the excavators and just get everything from inside the channel to make sure we don't plug anything
I
out.
didn't know they could mow that salt cedar that big.
Yeah, they're pretty good. We have a little trouble with the thick stuff, but that's where the Gradol comes in, and that mulcher that we purchased for that Gradol. And that Gradol just mulches it down to about a 1-inch, I guess, what would you call it? Shreds it to about 1 inch, or chips it to about 1 inch. This is part of the problem that we had this past weekend. This is there by Worsham Road, that arroyo came down again. And you'll see a picture here where it pretty much covered the drain completely, brought down a lot of trash, trees, you name it. It was a mess out there. We were out there on Saturday afternoon till about midnight. And we've been out there working in this area here for the past 3 days. And we're out there again this morning. That's the upper side of the drain, that's the lower side of the drain. That's how much sand went into that drain. So it completely plugged the culvert under Worsham Road. This is a couple of flumes that we've replaced in the Upper Valley and on the Stevens. Here we had these 2 flumes that actually failed. Funny thing about it is these 2 flumes hug that bridge that you just saw there. So we might as well, we went in there and took care of both the flumes once we were there, so. Keep going, Jay. That's where we had to stripe it. We used the same striping that it had on there, we just kind of modified it a little bit. But there you'll see where both pipes just hug that bridge. This is one of the canals that EPCWID serves our constituents. But all this work was being done is in Texas, so it falls under our responsibility.
What happened to that salt cedar beetle? Is it up in the upper valley? It's disappeared down
I
here.
think it is, in fact, I was telling Chewy here that I think it's right here by the Anderson Road, Young John, this area by John Whitty's place.
Yeah.
All the salt cedars are turning red right now.
Really?
Yes.
So maybe it came back.
I think it's coming down, it's actually going, what, upstream?
Well, you know, it came through us and wiped them out. That was what now, 3-4 years ago in Dorneo, and then
Yeah, they just came back.
they disappeared. The salt cedar, it was like they were pruned and
Right.
they came back refurbished. I mean,
They're stronger,
Well-
bigger.
they're bigger and stronger. Yeah.
My understanding was they were gonna release a new batch, right, Julie?
Yeah.
What you were told, that they
Right.
were releasing a new batch, and I think that new batch is the one coming through right now.
Okay.
They were gonna start up the valley and then they decided to come down and start them in the lower valley again.
I don't see them on my farm yet. I'm just curious. They think that freeze killed them? Is that what happened? That
Yeah.
2000?
That 2012?
6.
Well,
Oh,
yeah.
12, that's right.
Okay.
Okay, gentlemen.
Thank you, Pete.
Thank you.
That's good work.
Thank you, sir.
All right, 4-foot Robert, you got it where you wanted to.
You tell me what you asked for?
You might get it.
That little beetle was over there, the last I saw, it killed all the salt cedars in Caballo. Last year,
That's good.
so.
Now they're gonna flood and kill the beetles.
Yeah.
Yep. Ball tracks, we already got 5 out of the way, we're fixing to start a 6th one for the season, so they're going pretty good. You know, we still have little problems of people complaining about dirty ditches and who cleans the ditch, but they're going pretty smooth. Acre wise, believe it or not, this year compared to last year, there's like almost identical, like we bought 270 acres more this year than last year. But again, it should have been more greater, but I think what's happened this year, we really received in the valley two rains of over 2 inches at one time. We received one this past weekend, and then in June, we received another one for about 2 inches. And it's in the same area. It's not happening for the Isla or Tornillo down there. It's right in this area, they're receiving 2 inches. And that kind of delays the irrigations a lot. You know, right now, most people here they irrigated it, and right after they got through this weekend, they got the 2 inches, so.
Wow.
And you talk to them and he said, well, you probably won't see us with the cotton again until about the 1st of August, which is good or bad, I don't know, but it caused the river to start going up and down. We were pulling as much as 2,600 feet there from the river for a while, and we were already moving, and during that one time we were pulling it, and we had a 225-foot boost on there, I started seeing the water down here, like always Al says, it starts giving it to you, and I started seeing the river creeping up and creeping up and creeping up with that big release, but we were using the water, we've never seen the demand that we got here. These farmers are calling as much as 1,000 feet daily. It's a lot of water that we've been pulling and delivering it. And I didn't want to take the water away from the ditch riders, but finally last Thursday, we started hitting that boost, cutting it off, but the river don't want to drop. And yesterday, we finally went to 0. We made a major cut yesterday of 400 feet. And seeing it right now, the river still doesn't want to come down. So, flat out, we changed the boost to accretion now?
Yeah, it's supposed to switch,
Yeah.
especially when you do a major cut because you got all the bank storage coming.
And I'm still seeing the leaf spur still very strong. It's still, leaf spur this morning, the drop chute went by there. It's still running about 75 feet strong, and they still need to cut 100 feet off the leaf spur. So it's still pretty strong, so we're gonna have to make some adjustment to the river, but the scary part is, once it dries up, bringing that little sucker back up, it's a pain in the butt. It's happened three times this year, and that river, once you bring it back up, it doesn't want to answer. So, but other than that, it's working good. The river is coming back and responding well. The rains are keeping us busy. Even EPCWID this weekend, as much as Cruz and Leesburg, they received 3 inches. So we're staying on top of it, but I think, like Al's saying, I think the river is starting to respond in a positive way, and it's good.
All right, well, thank you, Robert.
That's it. Thank you, guys.
Thanks.
Okay, item number 12, applications. No action on all the other items, Sharon. If there are any.
In 1945 and 1950, they're the same applicant that we've had for the last 3 months, it's this company that's providing the internet to El Paso ISD and Socorro ISD. And with these two, it's gonna pretty much complete the system today at this time. Obviously, Socorro starts next, I think, 2 weeks, so they're trying to get everything up and running. But all the construction has gone well in the previous ones, and these are all aerial crossings for fiber optic. And they've submitted, Contera has submitted all proper documentation, and engineering recommends 1945 and 1950 for approval.
You recommend it?
Yes,
Now, where's Contera from?
they are from North Carolina.
And you check to see if they have license to do business in Texas?
Absolutely, yes, they're authorized to do business, yes.
Okay, do I hear a motion to approve application 1945 and 1950?
So
Mary makes a motion, and Indar seconds, all in favor say aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Application 1949.
This is there's a residence, a home adjacent to La Union East. It's right upstream from Borderland Road and Garcia Elementary School. The Briscoe family has sold the home to Mr. Geronimo Jordan and the title company. They did not have a license for legal access. So this is, it's an existing culvert that's in good condition, and it's obviously been used previously. So they submitted the survey and requested a 25-year license. Engineering recommend this application for approval as well.
Okay, do I hear a motion to approve it?
we'll move.
Indar makes the motion.
Second.
Larry seconds, all opposed, same sign. Motion carries. That's it. We need to go into closed session for a short period of time, I think. Guess we can have it in here.
Speaking of rain, I came